You should pull off your skin, you should pull off your skin, you should pull off your skin, you should pull off your skin. So, hello, it's me, your boy. Sorry for not being here for the last few days. I've been on holiday in the lovely city of Birmingham.
Do you mean Birmingham is a
Well, anyway, it's race week once again, and this time we've got the lovely, absolutely lovely circuit of Miami. Jokes aside, the circuit in Miami isn't terrible. It can technically be decent for racing, overtaking, drama, and all those other F1 buzzwords. But more off, it got me thinking about the increasing problem that's happening within F1 right now. Well, more specifically, the problem that I have with F1 right now. And that's the street circuit problem. Or as I like to coin it, the opposite problem to Formula E. Problem. It's a work in progress. Wait. Stop. Just need to take a few seconds out of your day to ask you to subscribe and like. I'm not threatening you or anything. I am relatively close to 4,000 subscribers as of now, and I would really like to reach 10,000 before the end of the season. So if you would like to help out with that, that'd be much appreciated. And make sure to check out my other stuff. Back to the video. Come on, Frosty. Complaining about F1 again? Why you gotta be so negative all the time? Are you sure you don't just hate yourself? Yes.
yeah, boy.
Aside from the fact that we are literally just in the Middle East, and now we're traveling all the way to the US, to then travel all the way back to Italy, problem I will get into. We're now at the second street race in a row this year and the third overall. It can be weird to look at Albert Park as a street circuit, and a lot of people genuinely don't realize it's one a lot of the time, but yeah, it is. We just had Saudi, and now we're on Miami. Talking about circuits people forget are street circuits, I completely forgot that Montreal, Canada is also a street circuit, so you're just not going to hear me talk about Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So every time I say a number to do the street circuit, just add one. Just add one, so yeah. We're going into the 6th race of the season, technically 7 if you include the sprint, and you're telling me that half of the races have been at street circuits. Look, I have no direct problem with street races and the concept for them. It's a cool gimmick to have a street circuit next to a massive stadium or through a small town or through a castle. Tight gaps, no track limits apart from your face in the wall. It's fun. The idea of the circuit, I don't have a problem with. The problem is when you're going to countries you've been going to for years and replacing actually competent, historically rich and interesting circuits with concrete, maybe, but also failing to understand what your sport actually is at its core. Germany has 12 World Drivers' Championships, 175 wins, 3 of the best drivers of all time who have ever set foot in a cockpit with some of the best circuits in the world. No race. The USA, 2 World Drivers' Champions, 3 races with 2 of them being street circuits. France, 4 Drivers' World Championships, 13 race winners, 81 wins, the most historic circuit of all time, Circuit de la Sarthe, an actual French team on the grid, and 2 actual French drivers in the sport right now, both with a win apiece. No race. The Middle East, 0 Drivers' Championships, 0 wins, 0 points, and hell, even 0 drivers. 5 races, with 2 of them being street circuits. Britain, okay, I think you get my point by now. Now, okay, I'm not saying that, oh, you need to have wins or championships to get a race in your country, fuck everyone else. Of course I'm not, but it's crazy how countries with over a century of racing pride, such as Germany, aren't even being acknowledged because some cunt is sat in a big chair waving his money around. Actual legitimate tracks are being thrown aside for hastily put together, expensive, interruptive, and potentially dangerous tracks that disturb local residents, completely flood cities that can't handle the traffic, and don't exactly support this whole save the environment shtick that F1 has been cramming down our throats since 2014. Oh yeah, also, when I said dangerous, I didn't mean like the drivers smashing into the wall, like legit an actual guy died during the construction of the 2023 Vegas GP track. I'm not even lying. Look as recently as the news on Spain to see what they're doing, replacing a long-standing circuit in the Barcelona Catalunya with Madrid street track. And I really like Catalonia as well, so I'm actually really disappointed about that.
Are you fucking kidding me?
The reason I called this the opposite problem to Formula E problem, it's a work in progress, is because when Formula E started, and up until very recently, it basically composed entirely of street tracks, and a lot of people, me included, berated it for not showing off actual race circuits. Formula E is technically better suited for street circuits anyway compared to F1, as they're a lot smaller in the cars and also they're a lot slower, meaning they can actually battle each other on circuits like Monaco. Even still, having every circuit as a street circuit kinda made a lot of the viewing boring, as it's hard to make a street circuit look different to each other compared to a normal circuit. Like, you can't exactly fit Eau Rouge into Times Square, like, you know. Anyway, they've recently actually been adding more and more legit circuits onto the calendar, such as Shanghai and Mexico City, i.e. F1 is having the opposite problem to Formula E problem. It's a work in progress. F1 is adding more street circuits, and FE is adding more actual circuits. It's almost like they're doing swapsies with match attacks, except there's a lot more oil money involved. Formula 1 in 2025 consists of 24 races on the calendar, being the highest we've had in its history. 13 of them are actual tracks and 8 are at street circuits. Now, that may not seem so bad on the surface, but it's worth looking back and gathering more information about how that number is actually worse than it seems. As recent as 2021, there was 4 street circuits on the calendar. 2019, there was 5 because of Australia being cancelled for 2 years, that's why it didn't appear in 2021. 2018, there was 5. 2016, 5. Bear in mind, they're also replacing Catalonia with Madrid next year, so that's 9 street circuits. And there's also plans for another Saudi Arabia race in Qiddiya for 2027, so that'll be 10. Not looking so good anymore, is it? 8. Doesn't look so bad for this year until you look at that rapid growth that street circuits have had in recent years. And even though, yes, they have had more races than ever in F1 right now, leading to a larger variation in potential for different tracks, it's starting to take a turn which I think is really bad for the sport. I honestly do. Though cash has always been king in F1, that's just assured, it seems, especially nowadays, that a small group of people can just ram their foot straight in the door and the heads of F1 just give in straight away to the waving cash in front of their heads, without considering what the sport actually means, what it represents, and how prestigious it really is. I mean, where does it stop? Are we just going to keep going with this until we've got 30 races on the calendar, with 17 of them being street circuits, and half of them in America or half of them in the Middle East? This is going to upset a lot of people, but F1 is a European sport, and I know people might get angry, upset, or even disagree with me, but it's true. And the only part of the calendar that feels like an actual real F1 calendar and not some money circus is the European leg of the calendar. It's easily the best part of the year, and still has that raw and genuine feeling I started watching F1 for. You've got Monza, Imola, Catalonia, Austria, Silverstone, Spa, Hungaroring, Zandvoort. Legendary tracks that have major historical ties to F1 and actually mean something. In the last few years, tracks like Imola and Spa have been slightly underwhelming, but France in 2022 is proof that you can have boring tracks with bangers and sometimes banging tracks that are boring. In either case, I would take Spa any day over some random ass city in Belgium having barriers put up and being called a track. Spa Francorchamps has way too much aura for me to lose it. Please. I think the perfect number of street races would be around 5, maybe 4. You're never getting rid of Monaco, so that's going to be included. Australia is banging and it's basically a real track at this point. Get rid of Vegas and Miami, keep Singapore, either or with Baku and keep Saudi Arabia. Bam. That's perfect. As I've said though, my problem isn't directly with street circuits. It's when they're ignoring entire countries that deserve a real race, like Germany or France, or replacing legendary circuits that have been a staple for years with some random shit in the same country, like with Spain. The USA having 3 races is bad cope is not what I'm getting at by getting rid of Vegas and Miami. I just think there's way better tracks in the US they could be using instead. I love NASCAR and IndyCar, and whilst I don't particularly agree with 3 whole races in the US in F1, I think 2 would be fine, with 1 in COTA and 1 in maybe Laguna Seca or Sebring. That'd be pretty sick. The US have a lot of tracks, obviously a lot of them aren't grade 1, and a lot of them are just oval circuits, but they have a lot of great tracks, and by having 2 of the 3 circuits just be street circuits, the general consensus for me anyway is they think they don't have many good actual tracks, so they need to attract people with, oh my god, look, you're racing through Vegas, the lights. It seems like a weird way of grabbing people's attention for America, and obviously that's basically what America is for a lot of people outside. It's just flashy and a lot of attention, but they have genuinely good racing circuits that a lot of actual race fans in America would be like, you need to go there. I hate that we have to have a street race in Vegas. It just makes us look like attention-seeking, ignorant asses, when most of them aren't. So yeah, another video about negativity. I do really want to get some good videos out about like why I like this or why I love this or that time that something happened. It's just really weird because obviously I said we're going to Miami this week, so it sort of reminded me of it. And it's something I genuinely wanted to get off my chest. Like, I was actually so close to going into a rant halfway through this video, but I felt like, you know, stick to the script for the most part, and you could actually get a competent video out there. A lot of people, I feel like, are going to disagree with me on this, and if you disagree with me on this, that's absolutely fine. That's why opinions exist, even though yours is wrong. So yeah, if you do disagree with me, make sure to comment down below and just say why you think that something should be something else, or why you disagree with a certain point. Sorry about being on holiday, but it was just sort of bad timing that I went somewhere and then the entire week disappeared, and now it's race week again, so I have to get a few videos out before the race begins because no one's going to be watching my channel. Hopefully they'd be watching the F1 race. Make sure to subscribe, like, all that YouTube jazz. My name's Frosty, and I do have an outro. Bye!